So hi everybody, my name's Julian Freeman, and I make films. I make films about how people live their lives in a better way, and I do that because it's my way of sharing the principles. Because the one thing I noticed, I started the principles in 2010, and the one thing I noticed is my life's changed for the better ever since. Which is beautiful, and I want to bring that to people. And I started off by thinking I could be a facilitator and a teacher and stuff, and I do enjoy that kind of stuff, and I do a bit of it, but where it just, the common denominator was always, when I had a camera in my hand, I was just loving it, and the camera would take me places. It would take me to meet people. It would take me to understand new experiences and how people had changed their lives and lived their lives, and it's just a fantastic journey. And why would you want to stop doing something that feels so fantastic? And so that's really what I want to share with everybody is I think from my experience of getting the principles was that I spent maybe a year or 18 months or 2 years trying to understand the principles. And really the gold is not in that. There's no intellectual, it's not in the intellectual place where the magic happens. It's in that other place. And I used to have a story that I would tell about, I sailed across the Aegean Sea once, and we were on a 50-foot boat. And at some point when you're 8 hours out into the Aegean Sea and you've got another 8 hours to go, the waves are really quite big. Like, they might be 60 feet, 60, 70 feet high. And you start going, is that wave going to come over the boat, or is it going to go under the boat? Right? You start to question how boats float, how water works, and every time the answer would be, well, of course, you go you go over the wave. The wave always passes underneath you. You always float. And I think that's one of the things about the principles is whatever the principles are describing, you are always safe. You're always okay. You're always, it's that's the, and in a way I worry sometimes that words are not good enough. Even the words that Sid Banks used to describe these three principles are not able to tell us what it really is, what he was really pointing to. Now I never met the man, and some of you guys on this call, did. So maybe you can tell, when we unmute everybody afterwards, you can tell me yourselves, because you'll know better than I do. But I get a sense of something more. So let me. So I've changed recently. I've changed my story, and it's not the story of do I still float? Am I going to make it through the next wave? But that's isn't that quite an interesting mindset? A lot of people, I think, spend a lot of their lives worrying about, will I make it over the next wave? That one looks like it's going to engulf me. Will I make it? And then, oh, I made it. Which is where I used to be in my life. But now I think more of soaring like an eagle or flying like a bird, right? Birds don't have any thought about how they fly. They just fly. They don't have to study the theory of thermals and how you can uplift, and fly higher and enjoy the breeze and and how that works. They just do. And I think that's what's really on offer. I mean, if that's it's still a very crude way of describing it, but I think that's what's on offer for all of us in every day, in every moment, is just spread your wings and fly. Does that make sense? I mean, that feels really good to me, you know? That, I don't know how about you, but if I could do that, just feel like that I'm flying. And that's where the camera comes back into me, because I've never had any sense of it being hard work, or that I don't want to do it, or, you know, it's just, I'm just drawn to do it. I just, you know, open my wings and go and see where it leads. And also if you read my book, the second piece of my book must be really quite confusing for people, because it's me kind of going, I don't need to control life, and then it's like, no, I do again. No, I do need to control life, because I need the certainty of what, you know, might happen, etc. I need to make sure I'm going to get over the next way. And then going, what are you doing? Take your hands off the controls, because actually you're not in control. You know, how can you order up the wind to take you in this direction? You can't. You just go with whatever's there for you. But now I suppose I'm much more comfortable with the fact that life's got it all worked out. I don't have to work it out. Like, I just, you know, the currents, the updrafts, all I have to do is spread my wings. That's all. And I could go back into my intellect about, well, is that mind consciousness or thought taking? I've started trying saying, how could I describe that in terms of the principles? And then I thought, do I need to do that? Do I need to try and put that, you know, into that box and, you know, just explain it for people that way? I think maybe you understand what I mean without me having to do that. I think we all understand it. I think that's one of the loveliest things about this thing, is that we all have it built in. We all have that capability, that to soar, to fly, to feel free, to enjoy life in every moment. And we had it from the day we were born, and we all have it. Everybody, there's no exceptions. I mean, that to me is the real hope for humanity, is that, you know, let humanity do its thing, and it'll come back to a sense of what's right. It'll come back to a sense of goodness, because that's what kindness, loving. I mean, if I were to put a word around, I wouldn't use the word mind. I'd just call it love. You know? Now, that's an interesting one, because love means something different to me to what it meant before. It's not that kind of, it's a much subtler thing. It's not that kind of romantic, you know, pouring out of passion and emotion and expression and so on, which is lovely. But love has got some kind of, even when I don't love my wife, I know that I'm in love with her, you know? Even when my kids have got lots of thinking about me, I know that I love them, and I know that they love me. And just knowing that subtle undercurrent, it's so subtle, but it's so powerful. And if it can be that strong for me, it's working for everybody. It's so powerful. It is that wind, or beneath your wings.